Yes, welcome to Bitter Reality Brewing. This is a very, very special video. We've got a lot going on. We've got a lot of thank yous going out. We've got a huge thank you to MoreBeer and a massive thank you going out to Blichmann. MoreBeer, if you don't know, MoreBeer has over 250 different beer kits. So yeah, Vito sent me Pliny the Elder to brew on a new brew system. And Blichmann sent me, yes, that's right, a BrewEasy Classic with a Boilermaker surface on the bottom. Yeah, I'm learning the temperature grades. We're gonna go over all that stuff. We'll go over the kit. We'll go over everything. But, you know, don't forget, yeah, like, subscribe, keep sharing. I think the subscribe moved over there, but yeah. So first of all, a little less than 20% of you prefer buying beer kits, which is huge because that's how most of us start, is buying beer kits. And in home brewing, there's a little bit of a turnover, and there's tons. In my theory, there's probably more people who are new to home brewing within about maybe 2 years, or maybe they did it for a little bit, stopped, came back. I think we're probably in the minority for people who brew constantly and brew regularly year in and year out. So that's why I asked those questions. Now, the other question everybody answered in the little surveys I did was a little less than 50% buy beer kits every year. I mean, they either buy them on sale, they buy a couple, they buy a lot, you know, and I understand that. And that was one of the reasons I reached out and I was talking to Vito and said, hey, I would love to brew one of your kits. And actually he hooked me up with two, so we got another one coming up in the future. But Pliny the Elder is an awesome brew. I brewed it on my Anvil Foundry when I first got it. It was the first brew I brewed. And they have over 250, technically it's about 250 different, but if you add up, you know, all grain, extract, in dry or liquid, you're sitting over 750 different kits. So they have a little bit of everything for everyone. And if you haven't checked out that video, I'll put it up here just talking about the kits, the Pliny the Elder specifically. But yeah, I understand, I get it. I rarely do kits nowadays, but there is a huge, huge reason too. Convenience. I mean, you get all the hops you need. If there's a bunch of different hops, you don't have to invest in a half pound, quarter pound, pound of these hops, or spend a much higher price trying to build that kit in 1 ounce, 2 ounce configurations. I mean, I got all the grain. The base grains were uncrushed. That was my choice. You can get them milled, and the specialty grain was already crushed, which is fine, not a big deal. It even came with a Warflock tablet and the powdered sugar. It wasn't one of those things where you buy like the, you know, cider kit and it says, oh, hey, by the way, you need all this extra stuff. Now, there were lots of options, of course, too, as you check out for other stuff. The one big thing that Vito said is when you do this, do it with Cellar Science Cali. You'll love it. So we're trying Cellar Science Cali. I've done a few other Cellar Sciences, but Cellar Science Cali I have not done, and that will be the yeast we're pitching today. We also have a mash hop. Yeah. We got 2 ounces of actual whole hops, Cascade, and that'll be our mash hops. This thing is crazy. I'm gonna tell you, it's getting close to the theoretical 200 IBU. I think I calculated it at about 180 something. It was insane. I wanna say 182.8, and ABV estimated is 8.5%. It's hard to get the final gravity on a high thing like this. I estimated my efficiencies for total brew house around 70, mash around 73.2. I'm not used to the system. This system is known for getting up around the 80s. So we could be sitting at a 9%er, I don't know, I'm hoping not, but you know, if it tastes good, I really don't mind. It just, it's kind of like you drink one, you fall asleep. But yeah, so very excited. Huge thank you out there to MoreBeer. This is gonna be a blast. We already did the video about it. We're doing this one, and then we're gonna do a taste test, which I'll try to get some guests in here. But yeah, we've got a lot of hop additions, and then we've got 5 ounces just for dry hopping later on. So it's a big brew. And if you've never had Pliny the Elder, yeah, I've only had a clone, and it was amazing. So I can only imagine that, you know, the original is just beyond. So for me, the closest thing I've ever had was a pallet wrecker from Green Flash, which I love, and sadly we can't get that here in Florida anymore, but Green Flash from pallet wrecker from Green Flash, just amazing. And yeah, it's just that, it destroys your palate. You eat it with like crazy spicy wings. So I've already done the brewing salts. I'll put them somewhere on the screen, maybe over there. I've mixed those in, I've got the waters going. My mash temp is down a little bit, so I need to kick that back up. Once I kick that back up, I was reading, we might be pretty close to capacity when I add the grains, and then I have to add 2 ounces of actual whole hops. This stuff might be floating over the top. I don't know, I've never done it. here's one of the cool things. When you're looking at this type of system, this is the BrewEasy Classic, courtesy of Blichmann. This is a 7.5 gallon, okay? This is a 10 gallon. You can get this in a 10 gallon configuration on top for if you're gonna do a lot of high gravity beers. So you can have a 10 gallon tank up top. This is your mash. Down here is technically your hot liquor tank, then it becomes your boil kettle. So you can go 10 and 10 and you can get a higher gravity. You can go all the way up to like much bigger pots. So yeah, I mean, you can keep going. Sky's the limit per se, within reason, of course. But yeah, we're only at 7.5 gallon pot up here. So I'm really concerned about that, but we'll see how it goes. I figure if it fits in an anvil, it should fit in this and we'll go from there. I've set this up. I know the cords are draping down. You can open up the Brew Commander and you can stick these up inside and wire them and have them come down and have cable management in here. We have our flow meter, sorry. We've got our therminator, and we've got the riptide down there, and it's all connected. This is probably the first time I've ever brewed on the floor. So I looked up my resin floor to make sure it can tolerate any kind of heat coming off the bottom of this. We're safe. We're safe. So I'm all good with that. I'm gonna get the temp back up and we're gonna mash in and we'll go from there. Got a false bottom in here. We're good. Got our, we're good. Okay, I'm gonna leave a link to the recipe in the description, but for anybody who needs to know now, and I'll make sure to put it up on the screen somewhere, maybe over here. We have 13 pounds brewer's malt, 2-row, Briess, 1 pound Carapils, Briess. I'm assuming Briess on the Cascade or Caramel Malt 40L. That's 6 ounces. I put 4 ounces on here, but it's 6. And if you look in the recipe, which I'll link to in the description to MoreBeer's PDF, is 6. 2 ounces of Cascade, whole hop in the mash. Then we're gonna have a 90-minute boil and a 90-minute mash. Yes, 75 minutes at 151, 5-minute ramp up, and for 10 minutes we'll be at 168 before we mash out. There will be no sparge. That's one of the things with the BrewEasy Classic design is it's good and bad. Bad, maybe you are used to sparging. I've always sparged. Now, the good, you don't have to. And the system is known for good efficiencies and high efficiencies, so it really is an extra step that normally would get a little bit of extra sugars, but you know, you don't need to, you don't need to. So then we're turning around and we have 1 ounce, 2 ounce of Magnum at 90 minutes, 1 ounce of Simcoe at 45, 1 ounce of Columbus at 30, and then we'll have 3 ounces at 0 minutes, which will include 2 ounces of Centennial, 1 ounce of Simcoe, and we have a pound of corn sugar, and then that's it. So let's go ahead and get mashed in before the temp starts dropping too quickly, and I'll get the temp back up. Like I said, I'm playing it safe, so I've been also double checking, triple checking temperatures, so ignore me. I'm gonna speed this part up as usual. Okay, so we have a small problem. Easy fix. I have so much malt in here and so much hot water, 4.5 gallons plus the malts, and I haven't even added the hops yet, that I can't get to the auto sparge piece. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna drain about a half gallon, put the auto sparge on, put the hops in there, and then we'll start the mash. I'm gonna let it sit, of course, for that 10 minutes, and I figure between mashing in, doing all that, we should be good. So, here we go. What is it, only 150 degrees? Wasn't too bad. And somehow I'm a little high, actually. Oh, it's because of the displacement with the malts. I'm like, I know it's at 4.5 gallons, and all of a sudden I'm higher. I'm like, how did that happen? Okay, let's get the hops in there. Grains smell amazing when you first open them, but hops are the best. There we go. I'm not even gonna try to wet that down. The flavors will be fine. And it's not like I need more bittering because it's gonna be beyond what we can perceive. Just gonna go to bed, you know, this thing over my nose. I know Cascade has gotten a lot cheaper over the years, but it still smells amazing. So let's go ahead, get the profile, get everything ready. Let's put the lid on. Okay, here we go. We have a 75-minute timer on the mash. We'll 5-minute ramp up, 10 minutes at 168, and we should be good. I'm gonna start checking the temperatures. I'm gonna leave the lid off for a second just until I get this thing under control. It's the first time brewing with it. A little bit of a learning curve. Okay, doing much better. Because I drained out that excess liquid, I instantly caused a stuck mash. So we'll be fine. This little port is kind of cool because I can use it to get a pH. Okay, so we've been doing great for quite a while now. We're at temp, everything's looking beautiful, but yeah, lesson learned. Don't open it wide open and just let all that liquid flow out while this isn't pumping. What happened is I pulled the mash down very quickly and it stuck. And I was like, something's not right, something's not working. Had to kind of disturb that bottom that I really shouldn't, and I got it fixed. These are little tiny like flow restrictors, and you put them between the two kettles to help restrict the flow. And I've been testing it at a half gallon. This test was just water, and I didn't feel it was fast enough. And they recommend 0.75 for a 5-gallon batch. So I'm like, you know what? Let's go to 0.75. And it just seemed like it wasn't going that fast either. Watching the indicator, it just was very slow. So I went to 1 gallon. So when I opened that wide open, yeah, it pulled the mash down and stuck it. So I got everything under control. I know I did the whole rake the bottom, which you really shouldn't, but things are flowing really beautiful now. I've checked it a few times. I've had a couple spots that seem a little stiff, fixed those. And next time I'll go back to 0.75, and I will make sure that everything's flowing before I go opening it wide open. I controlled it a little on the end down there. I did take a pH reading. We were at, I'll put it up somewhere, but I think it was something like 5.23, which is a little lower than where I want to be. I like to be right at 5.3, you know, as far as during the mash, but it had been going for a little while already. So 5.23 looks great. I'm happy. I thought I was going to have to add, according to Beersmith, I was going to have to add a little bit of lactic acid, but I guess not. So we'll keep mashing on. There we go. We're ramping up to 168. Quick alert. The system takes a lot to manage. You really need to stay focused and not look away. If you're distracted, you're going to have a problem. But things like that are automated, which makes it really nice. And now that we come up to 168, we'll be there for 10 minutes once we ramp up, and we'll go ahead after that and mash out, basically just drain everything down to the boil kettle, the previous hot liquor tank. Okay, the mash just completed. Probably gonna sound another alarm at me. Hit the button, hit OK, and we're gonna get ready for a boil. So I've gotta shut the pumps off, turn everything off. I'll turn everything off, turn the pump off, get all the liquid down below, and start our boil. Okay, so we just hit 212. We're getting ready to get a boil over if I don't give it a little stir here. And I gotta get the timer going, but the boil over is more important. Do not want to boil over. Okay. I can't see. Menu, boil. I got timers, but I forgot to set them. Okay, I think I've got a good break going. It's looking pretty good. Let me set my timers first. Okay, so there we go. I had to set the profile. There were just too many additions not to. Yes, I'm gonna use a hop basket because I wanna reduce the hop matter in the beer. So I hooked up the whirlpool so I can whirlpool it and get a lot of that in the center. And we need our Magnum. So we have a 15.2 alpha, German Magnum hops. It's a 90-minute boil edition, and it's 2 ounces. Magnum smells really good. I always want to use it as a late addition someday. I just have never done it, and I've never seen a beer that uses it as a late addition. This has, I mean, come on, spicy, fruity. Sounds good to me. It's just such a high alpha. Everybody's always used it for bittering. And there we go. Our boil's off. We've got 90 minutes. We've got a 45-minute edition, a 30-minute edition, and then not until 0, but I have the corn sugar, I have the whirlpool tablet, I have some yeast nutrient. So I've set a 10 and a 5-minute reminder towards the end. Here we go. I was like, where's the 45-minute edition? There it is. Oh my God. Yeah, Simcoe. And we'll drop that in there. And then we have a 30-minute edition coming up here shortly. And that'll be the last edition until we have a 0 Flameout edition. We have 2 editions then. Okay, let's keep boiling. Okay, we got our Columbus edition, 30-minute. Smells very nice. Simcoe's a little better, in my opinion. Still very nice. Okay, there we go until we get to the 0. Okay, last 10 minutes, I'm dropping in the whirlpool tablet. Agree. Put it in the yeast nutrient. Fermax, I believe. And corn sugar could go into the last 5 minutes, but I think I'll start getting it ready and getting it in there. Steam facial, I should charge for this. The steam facials, that is. And if you've ever added corn sugar, you know it's trying to stick to everything. It'll dissolve very quickly, especially only a pound. And periodically, I've been stirring the hop matter in the hop basket and stirring the wort. That way I know it's getting full contact, or at least as much as possible, without creating a big mess or not looking for a hazy, you know what I'm saying? There we go. Put the pound of corn sugar is in there. Gotta throw this away. And we got about a little less than 10 minutes to go. Okay, that's it. That's our 0 minute. Boil complete at home. I'm gonna dump 1 ounce of Simcoe in here. And I've got 2 ounces of Centennial. Is that correct? Yeah, that's correct. Oh, big Centennial fan. Really, really nice. And boil should have stopped. Off. There we go. Stir that in there. I know it's 0 minute, but I want a little bit of contact. You know what I'm saying? Okay. It's gonna be a little bit. I'm gonna run it through the therminator back into the kettle a little bit just to chill it down. Then I'll run the whirlpool to get everything into the center. Then I'll put it into the fermenter and we'll be right back. Okay, I know you just saw me drop the hops and I jumped back in. Too much background noise, sorry. Had a dehumidifier and a fan running. But yeah, I killed the heat. I'm gonna get this chilled down, run it through the therminator, but it's gonna take a little bit because I'm gonna run it back into here, chill it down a little bit so I can get all the trub and everything in the center. Then I'll move it to the fermenter. Then we'll resume. And if you haven't noticed, 7.5 gallons clean, the lid's clean, everything's already cleaned except for this. So, kind of ahead of the game. Okay, I can't say it was a bad day, it was a pretty good day. And yeah, we're at brew house efficiency of 69%. Yeah, you win some, you lose some. First time, not a big deal. My estimated mash efficiency was 73.2, not bad. I'm gonna go ahead and put some clarity firm in here. And then I've already, how do you say, star sand the hell out of all this, dried it off with a paper towel. I'm gonna put Solar Science Cali. It says 59 to 72. So I think I'm gonna put it in the glycol chiller, bring it down low and let it kind of, ramp up. And I'll bring it up to around 68 Fahrenheit. So let me go ahead and get all this pitched. And don't forget, like, subscribe, keep sharing, definitely appreciate it. Whew, long day, but I learned a lot, had a lot of fun. Cheers.